The main point of today's event is that the only limitations you have are the ones you believe you have.
Say it again, y'all.
Hold up, let me tell you what's going on here. This video is the beginning of your hero journey. Right now, I assume that you think you're not a superhero. You think you're an ordinary person living in an ordinary world. Perfect. Because that's how every superhero since the beginning of time has started out. It has to be that way, just like every butterfly starts out as a caterpillar. This journey you are about to embark on is the same journey for all heroes since the beginning of time. It's called the monomyth, and it's as old as dirt. It has shown up in every age, every culture, and every religion around the world. Maybe it's important. This is the same journey that Hercules, King Arthur, Gilgamesh, Odysseus, Hamlet, Arjuna, Buddha, Jesus, Achilles, Beowulf, Moses, Noah, Musashi, and a million more all went on. The hero with 1,000 faces. And one of them is yours. Hollywood has adopted it and reuses it every year. You'll recognize it in The Hunger Games, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, all the Avengers movies, Star Wars, Shrek, Rocky, Kung Fu Panda, The Matrix, Lion King, Wizard of Oz, Goonies, Where the Wild Things Are, Toy Story, and a million more. Those modern movies are copies of an ancient metaphor. Hollywood loves it because we love it. We love it because we subconsciously recognize it in ourselves because it's a metaphor for your own personal superhero journey that's tattooed on our psyche. Just like the story of a butterfly would captivate the imagination of a caterpillar. Once you realize it's a journey inwards, not outwards, you can begin. This video here is going to try to convince you that you have almost unlimited potential like a superhero. We will use ancient philosophy, modern psychology, science, and visual storytelling to convince you that the circumstances of your life have tricked you into thinking you're ordinary, tricked you into forgetting that you are a superhero, and that you have some work to do to reclaim your birthright. There are 5 benchmarks placed in the video shown by these totem poles. You should write down what they say. Follow along with the downloadable guide available on our website, and if you get confused or doubt anything in this video, you can do your own research to find out if it's true. Okay, let's get back to it. One thing you must understand about this superhero situation is that everyone is equal, except for their beliefs about themselves. No one is greater than anyone else. The greatest among us, the greatest in history, were just like you. And the greatest in history all told us that very plainly. That means that you are capable of far more than you realize right now. You can accomplish feats that will astound you, things that don't even seem possible to you right now. As a whole, we grossly underestimate our own human potential. You don't have to be unhappy. You don't have to be bored. You can help people. You can change lives. You can be fulfilled. You can start a chain of events that could never be stopped. The world needs you to reach your highest potential. You're alive right now for a purpose, and that purpose is not to pay bills and die. You need to decide if you're the victim of your circumstances, just a product of your environment, or the hero of your story. It's your choice. If you failed yesterday and the day before, you can still win today and tomorrow. When you light a candle, you see the light. It doesn't matter how long the room has been dark. You have within you divine machinery that can light up the whole world if you just tap into it. Do you believe that? Or do you believe you have limits? This is not just motivational bullshit. This is self-knowledge, and it's the key to reaching your best life. I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to take an honest look at yourself. I'm inviting you to examine what you know and how you know it. When a child is born, everyone who comes into contact with that child is a teacher. And the child is flooded with suggestions about what the world is like and what they should believe about themselves. From the moment you were born, you were learning from everyone and everything around you. Children are like sponges, watching, listening, learning, absorbing everything nonstop. As memory develops, you built your own database of experiences and formed your own point of view, while still surrounded by everyone else suggesting what to believe. Each child responds to their different environments and different experiences in different ways, until at last, these suggestions and experiences enter the child's mind and they become beliefs about what the world is like and who they are and what they're capable of. Usually this happens at around 8 years old. You absorb most of your beliefs as a child. As kids, we were not equipped to challenge and examine everything. Combined with the psychological need for comforting beliefs, we end up absorbing a lot of opinions, a lot of accidents, a lot of guesses, a lot of shortcuts, a lot of lies. The result is that no two people experience the world in the same way. We find different things scary, different things funny, different things beautiful, different things ugly, different things inspiring, different things depressing. different things easy or difficult. The things do not have meaning. You assign the meaning with your beliefs. You think that the meaning is outside of you, but it's not. It comes from your beliefs. Your mind is constantly projecting itself, constantly giving life a story and a meaning that are not its own. But you are not aware that you're assigning the meaning with your beliefs. You think that you're passively receiving information with your senses, but you're not. You are the co-creator. You live in your own personal world where everything has the meaning that you believe it has. Your beliefs and your world is more personal than factual. Everyone has their own world and their own beliefs, and it's not the same for anybody. You think the meaning you assign to things is outside of you, but it's not. And you don't realize how powerful that makes you. You absorbed most of your beliefs as a child without examining them. You have some faulty beliefs that are based on opinions and accidents, not reality. Let's talk about your brain and how it's affected by your beliefs. And let's start with what you're doing right now. I want you to become aware of two sets of functions. I'll call them voluntary and automatic for now. On the one hand, you are consciously watching this video, paying attention to the images on the screen, looking at the words and listening to my voice. On the other hand, you're breathing. Your heart is beating. And the noises I'm making with my mouth are taking shape in your brain. The shapes on the screen make sense to you without your effort or attention. Becoming aware of these two parts of yourself is a central theme of ancient self-knowledge, and it's well known to modern neuroscience as well. Your voluntary mind is what you call yourself. It's what is known to you, like moving your arms, walking, and talking. The automatic part controls what you're not aware of, like your heartbeat, your breathing, digesting your food, and more. The voluntary part of your life is much smaller in function. It's slower too, because you have to think about everything. The automatic part of your life is much bigger and much faster. It does so much for you, yet it's often ignored. Generally speaking, there is not much communication between these two areas, but your beliefs are in a very unique position because they affect both parts of your life. Let's start with the more obvious voluntary part. Your beliefs about yourself and about your world affect what you do in any situation. They affect the choices you make and the actions you take. Your beliefs about yourself and about your world affect how you do everything. They affect your attitude, your expectations, and the energy you bring to everything you do. And your beliefs about yourself and about your world affect your timing. And battles are won and lost with timing. So, if you believe something's impossible, that will show with what you do, how you do it, and when you do it. And you will most likely prove it to be impossible for you simply because you believe that. Whatever you believe, you'll probably end up making the choices to prove yourself right. This is one way that your beliefs are like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now let's take a look at what your brain does automatically. Everything about your brain is designed for survival. We no longer live in savannas or forests full of predators and dangers, but our brains are still wired as if we were. Our brains are built for survival. For your brain, survival requires speed. You might think that your brain passively waits for input, processes it, and then reacts, but that's not what it does. That's way too slow. You would have been eaten a long time ago. The default setting on your brain is for speed. Your brain would rather be wrong quickly than to be right when it's too late. Your brain needs to react fast. It needs to know what to expect. It needs to be ready ahead of time. So our brain sacrifices detail and accuracy for speed. And it does this automatically in 3 ways. Number 1 is selecting, also known as ignoring. Your brain is built to ignore things. We are flooded with sensory input every moment of our lives. There's too much information and too little time to process it all. We have to react to what's important and ignore everything else. So your brain automatically zeroes in on what it thinks is important, and it ignores everything else. And you're generally unaware that you've ignored anything. Just like your heartbeat, just like your breathing, this selection is happening automatically. The second thing your brain does to help you react quickly is it compares your present experience to your past experience. This is the fastest way to make sense of what's happening around you, by comparing it to similar past experiences. Instead of trying to understand every unique detail about what's going on, your brain looks for shortcuts. So it scans your present experience and compares it to past experience, looking for similarities and differences. And you're generally unaware that you've compared to your personal experience. You think the meaning you assign to things is coming from outside of you, and you think it's the same for everybody, because this action happens automatically without your awareness. The third thing that your brain does to speed things up is predicting. Your brain uses your selective attention, it uses comparisons and past experience, and it makes a guess about what is coming next. So what happens is you generate a model of the world in your head based on your best guess, and your brain physically expects that guess to happen. It might produce adrenaline or change your breathing in anticipation of your prediction. Whatever it does, it gets you physically ready for your prediction, automatically. So not only do you make your choices in accordance with your beliefs, but your beliefs about yourself and about your world help you filter what you believe is important and what to ignore. Your beliefs help you instantly assign meaning to what's happening around you, and your beliefs help you make predictions. Your beliefs influence every aspect of your life without your awareness or attention. They have the capacity to prove themselves true in your life just by the fact that you believe them to be true. And this is especially true for your beliefs about yourself. In system dynamics, this is called self-reinforcing feedback. In mathematics, it's called a positive feedback loop. In sociology, it's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. But in the bigger picture, you can get stuck in this feedback loop where you don't see the need of doubting what you learned by accident in your childhood. In Buddhist philosophy, this is similar to samsara, the wheel of illusion we get stuck in due to ignorance of self. Or in Hindu philosophy, it's similar to Maya, the grand illusion that we think is real. The things we believed as a child entered the automatic part of our brains and form a kind of a lens that colors our entire life experience. You learned a unique description of the world and you believe it, and your brain creates that unique world for you. Everyone has their own unique world based on their experiences and beliefs. Your beliefs have the capacity to prove themselves to be true just by the fact you believe them. This is especially true for your beliefs about yourself. The only limitations you have are the ones you believe you have.
Say it again, y'all.
The only limitations you have are the ones you believe you have.
Listen to me. Oh!
If you believe you have certain limitations, they will become real for you. And you will see those limitations in your life. And you will think they are real. And you'll think they are outside of you and beyond your control. And you'll be trapped by those limitations like a good, loyal prisoner.
Look out!
And you will struggle. And you will suffer. And you'll wonder why you fail sometimes when you think you should have succeeded. And you'll see other people who appear to have everything. And you'll wonder why they are so lucky. And you'll wonder why it's not you. But mostly you'll walk around like everything's okay, never reaching your full potential, trying to ignore it by staying as distracted as you can. And you don't even realize it's your unexamined beliefs that are holding you back. This is where your superhero journey begins. Welcome to your ordinary world. Now, you might be thinking, okay, why can't I just believe something different and change my life? Or perhaps you're aware that it is not easy to change your beliefs. If you think honestly about it, you will notice that you're quite loyal to your beliefs. You will resist anything that goes against your beliefs about yourself or your world. Why is that? Why should we be loyal to our beliefs? Pause. Have you ever noticed that in every superhero movie, there's a point where the hero doubts themselves? They say they're not a superhero, they're too ordinary. They even failed at something simple just a few scenes ago. That's this part. Play. Questioning what you have believed all your life makes you feel funny. It even feels a bit ridiculous to imagine that you have an inner superhero. Why? That is partly because your beliefs form a major part of your identity. The most common way people give up their power is to believe that they don't have any. Some of your faulty beliefs have become attached to your identity, where they avoid your attention and scrutiny. But I want to tell you that you are not who you think you are. Most of our personality is a defense mechanism to protect us from emotional trauma. The word personality comes from the Latin word persona, which means mask. And that's really what it is, it's a mask. Or more than that, it's a pattern. What you call yourself is simply a pattern of thoughts, a pattern of choices, a pattern of behavior that you're comfortable with. Your whole identity, your self-image, your self-opinion, is a pattern of behavior built around the faulty beliefs you absorbed as a child. This false idea of who you are makes you feel safe like a baby with their blanket. It gives you a built-in excuse for any kind of failure. It gives you the illusion of security. But you could be so much more than that. You are so much more than that. Playing this limited role society gave you is not worthy of you. If you knew yourself for even one moment, you would never settle for anything less. Get out of the circus. Now, I could be dramatic and say your limited self must die, and you must resurrect as a superhero. I could say your ego must be sacrificed and you must visit the underworld in order to return as a new person. That's what most of the ancient myths say in their ancient metaphorical language. Pause. Have you ever noticed that in almost every superhero movie, there's a point where they die or they're pushed to the brink of death? Then they come back stronger and more focused than they were before. That's this part. Play. I'll just say that your beliefs about yourself have to be changed or abandoned to reach your inner superhero, and this requires deliberate and consistent action. It's the same idea, take whatever works for you. Now you've got all 5 totems, and if you wrote them down or used our downloadable guide, you will have a logical explanation of why and how you are a superhero. If you're stuck at one of the totems or curious for more, you can use Google or check our reference guide for spiritual and scientific additional reading. If the 5 totems make sense to you, then you're ready to continue the journey. But there is a prison guard. Maybe you know them. Pause. Have you ever noticed in many superhero movies that there's an enemy too close to the hero, knows too much about the hero, knows their particular weakness and how to exploit it? That's this part. Play. The prison guard is that voice in your head that never shuts up. That voice in your head is not really you. It's not your true self. That voice is the voice of your conditioned self. That voice doesn't work for you. It's an agent for the society you grew up in. That voice that tells you, I can't reach my inner superhero. It's too hard to reach my inner superhero. People will make fun of me and I'll look foolish if I try to reach my inner superhero. I'm too tired and too weak to reach my inner superhero. I'm too stupid, I'm too unlucky to reach my inner superhero. I'll lose my friends and family and everything I love if I try to reach my inner superhero. This is all bullshit and superheroes aren't real, everyone is ordinary, those myths are just imagination. "99% of the beliefs you have today were accepted as a child. These beliefs go unchallenged, unexamined, unquestioned your whole life, and they are extremely limiting. These beliefs are the key to everything. Once you lock in on an identity, your brain finds a way to keep you there. We live who we believe we are. We were compelled in our youth to make decisions that we didn't fully understand about what to believe and about what we're capable of. And those beliefs become the glass ceiling that controls us. let's review. Your brain is a prediction and projection machine designed to keep you safe. Your beliefs determine the predictions and projections your brain makes. Your beliefs were accepted when you were a child. Some of those beliefs are faulty. Some of those beliefs are tied to your identity. Some of those beliefs are holding you back. The only limitations you have are the ones you believe you have. So, I want you to ask yourself, when did you define yourself? How many years ago did you come up with a list of what you could and couldn't do in your life? Most people live a life based on a set of beliefs they made 10 or 20 or 30 years ago, and they're not happy. They're limited, and they think that's the way it has to be, but it doesn't. Look at any place in your life that you have a limitation, and ask yourself, when did I decide to accept that limitation? Look at any part of your life that you're not extremely happy with, and ask yourself, when did I give up my power to change that? We live who we believe we are. Who do you believe you are? Well, let me tell you who you are. You are the most magnificent pearl hidden beneath the ocean. But you are the pearl, and you are the ocean. You are a great treasure buried in a field. But you are the treasure, and you are the field. You are a golden Buddha beneath a layer of stone. But you are the Buddha, and you are the stone. You're a motherfucking superhero, and somebody needs you. Your journey has just begun, and it won't be easy. It takes a masterpiece of strategy to overcome your natural barriers while still living in society. Nobody makes it alone. We have spent years studying ancient philosophy, comparative religion, psychology, motivation, the latest in science and philosophy, advanced teaching techniques, and more. And we've boiled it down into an easy-to-understand interactive video program. We give you quizzes, online tools and resources, reference materials, worksheets, guided meditation, habit-building exercises, and more, presented in a specific order to take you on a mental journey to confront your faulty beliefs and help you reach your inner superhero, your highest self. You could spend up to $30,000 to get this material at a weekend workshop. You could spend $5,000 to hear them on stage. You could spend years reading thousands of books, searching for the secrets that will unblock your potential and trying to understand and apply it. Or you could transform your life with this video series for only $19. This is a limited time offer. Life is short, too short to waste it underachieving. What do you have to lose?